You're listening to The Bounding Box, where we talk about web development, geo development, and everything in between. All right, welcome to The Bounding Box. I got an awesome guest here today, folks. Someone I think you really appreciate, Sean Christian. So, Sean, please introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do. What's your problem?
I got plenty of problems, bud, but no. Yeah, Sean Christian, and I am semi-retired. I teach GIS at Rio Hondo College, but I have had a career as a civil engineer for 30 years with the county. I've had a lot of distinctions over those years of being involved in the fruition, the creation of county GIS in LA County, with folks like Nick Franchino, with Warren Roberts, with Jonathan from Esri, our old
Oh, yeah.
rep, Barry Wade. I don't know if you've had him on, but he's a character. There were a lot of us back then, and this really started um, grassroots. Esri used to host user groups, and I used to be the user group coordinator for them. Way back in the day, we would meet in the Wilshire Grand downtown, and I always loved that venue because back then GIS was more of something that we could imagine it being without it actually being there, believe it or not.
Yep.
And so back then, GIS, we would have presentations at these user groups, but the real action was always happening in the back of the room where this person from this city or this guy or this gal from this public agency, we're all building GISs in silos. And we really thought there's a better way. We need to start coordinating our efforts. And so we did. And people like people from the county. I don't know if you remember the guy, county assessor. Anyway, John Anderson was another one for DPW. He spearheaded the creation of the precise database for DPW. That was a 30-year project, even
Oh, wow.
predating GIS and these days. God, I forget his name. And anyway, terrible memory of mine. I guess that's why I retired from doing GI or 30 years of civil engineering. But my real motivation in GIS started almost the day I started as an intern in at the sanitation districts, which you and I worked together there for a few years, and it really I had a pretty big background in databases and just like you, databases, and I had a big background in CAD. And seeing those two technologies married together in that format was so exciting to me. I could not sleep at night. I was like, think of all the things you could do. Like, forget about database design as we know it. That's out the window.
Yeah.
Suddenly everything is geographic, and we should be thinking in those terms. Absolutely. And so during my career at the sanitation districts, I applied, and I teach my students this too. GIS is a tool to me. It's a it's your most well-worn tool in your toolbox for sure. But GIS can support you in so many different aspects, no matter what you do in your career. And so I made a point of having GIS be the solution for lots of engineering problems that I tackled for 30 years. And guess what? It ended up being the best tool in the toolbox. And I would have to say I was the envy of most engineers and managers around me because I could do things that they could not do.
Oh, for
I
sure.
could analyze things in ways that they couldn't even dream of it. And so, as you know, we built the group together, our GIS group. It started out very humble, but
Yeah.
that group worked to digitize every sewer in LA County, and it's still being used
Oh,
today.
yeah.
That group was behind the storm drain initiative. We digitized every storm drain in LA County not just digitizing, but with intelligence, with spatial intelligence and no technology, network technology. So you could actually trace a drop of water from the mountains to the ocean. That was unheard of before. In fact, it
Yep.
was almost an impossible task before. So, out of such a small group that we had, we did big things in GIS for the county. We supported the release of parcel data. Barry Waite and I can go on for days about that. It took an act it took Esri was pressuring, a lot of different people were pressuring because they were charging us $2 a parcel at
I
that
remember that.
time.
That was insane.
Literally $2 a parcel, right? Yeah. Even in our own area, it's not that one parcel was more important than the other. They all were important, and there were 2.4 million of them, right? So so their model was unworkable, but it took an act of the California State Attorney General at the time to issue basically a letter saying it's public data. It should cost somebody $5.25 to get it on a DVD. And that's what really started. If you really think what started LA County GIS is the release of the precise database. And
Oh
as
yeah.
we started there and we grew that with, like I said, with sewers, even local sewer, like, and so the digital landscape in LA County is one that is really, really mature, but it really started in the back rooms of those user groups. I kid you not, man.
Those are fun times. I remember those, man. Those were a blast. They were still going on when I was there.
Yeah, yeah.
There's really some great things going on.
We were doing big things for three guys, right? It was you and me, well, and Pete
And
and
Dave.
David, right? The three musketeers. You guys were doing outstanding work. I was managing that your group for a long time, and was always, I would say, I was the biggest, proudest papa on the planet during those days because I would have people. You wouldn't believe the compliments I would get from all the way up to the chief engineer, all the way down about the work that you guys were producing. It was really stood apart in our agency, and it still does today. I mean,
Yeah.
our agency has
It
done
was
really
fun.
great. Yeah.
I mean, it
I
was
mean, you
really
think
early in my
about,
career.
yeah. Well, I remember, I'll never forget these words. What is GIS?
Yep, exactly. And seriously,
and
for
then
people listening
and then you
here,
took off like a rocket, you know.
for people listening, it's like 2002 when I started at county there,
Mhm.
and within like it must have been like within a month or so, Sean
Yeah.
comes strolling by my desk, and I was a CAD guy. I got hired as a CAD guy there, a drafter, drafting tech. Sean comes strolling by, is like, "You ever heard about GIS?" Well, yeah, what is GIS? I had no clue what you were talking about, right? And I think the way you explained it to me very briefly was it's like the CAD you're doing now, but there's a database attached to it. So I got some stuff. Let's try it out.
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah.
it was, and back then, I mean, I'm still back then. I was hungry. I was
Yeah.
incredibly hungry to work, to
We
move
all
up,
were.
to kind of learn and all that, and
Yes.
just do some exciting work. And
Yeah.
yeah, man, we dove right into it, and yeah, we just went from there. It was great.
We never look back, dude. We never look back, and that's what I enjoy. I really, those are the days I really miss when I think about the time we spent, working in the planning group there, and just the opportunities we were given. I don't know if you realize. I don't think my GIS guys realized what a long leash we had. Really, I mean, we had some of the best support around when it came to our upper management. They
Yep.
really cut us a long leash, but we delivered and we always delivered, right? And so
Oh
they
yeah.
knew, hey, the GIS. I don't know if you remember when we did like our own map gallery at the districts. It was during like it was like a conference kind of thing. We tried to make a conference kind of thing, and of course, I made the big mistake of showing something that was IT related that wasn't blessed by IT, and they literally shut me down right there. So that goes to show, like, we were folks in IT piece, man,
Yeah,
we really can't do it without all those folks, but we were not IT people, not IT centric people anyway. We were
exactly.
people that had skill sets that they didn't have, but vice versa. And so, but that relationship was tenuous at times because we always felt like we were leading and not following. We were the ones setting the pace for our IT folks, and they were getting a little frustrated with us. But hey, you know what? We all worked together fantastically at the
Oh
end.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So
everyone benefited. The whole district, the whole county benefited from all that
the
work.
whole
So
county. I mean, if you think about the storm drain initiative, I don't know. You grew up here too, right?
yeah,
We're natives here, and uh, storm drains, the ocean quality. I don't know if you remember, but they used to have the beach report cards where there was
yeah.
mostly F's, right? If I recall. But try and recall the last time that you found one of those. Well, it coincides very nicely with our storm drain initiative. So I really have to think that we made a huge impact. We all made a huge impact on how Californians, how Southern Californians live their life every day,
Oh yeah,
yeah, you think about like that data sits in trucks all over LA County, is managed and maintained by all the folks in flood control, DPW, where they have access that's tied into sewers, it's tied into spill sites, industrial. They can uh, have the information at their fingertips as far as who manages a storm drain and how to get a hold of them, and even pull up the drawings on that sucker and see where's the best place to put an intercept on that. So,
oh yeah,
so that's huge information. I mean, just monstrous information that today people, rightly so, go, well, it's always been there. Yeah.
yeah. Exactly.
But that is not the case.
And
And
I
I mean,
know,
to give it, so the storm drain just as, and I'll finish here. The storm drains is managed independently by 78 cities, LA County, uh, um, Caltrans, and there's some federal stuff in there, right? And
yeah,
so you have all these different agencies that are suing each other actively while we are creating this unified storm drain, and they all agreed that this was the best path forward. Even we would have meetings of like 50 individuals trying to come together. It's like herding cats on a whole nother scale. And yet they could all see the benefit of having one unified source. So, anyway,
yeah. It was always tough. Like I said, there's just people don't understand that even at county level, it's not like there's like one county agency rules them all type of deal. I mean, no, man. You got county, but then it's an unincorporated county. Then you got
it's
the city
unincorporated.
of
Yeah.
LA. There's their own
City of
beast,
LA. Yeah.
and all the other little cities that aren't incorporated that have say in
No.
everything too. And you got to work. Everybody's got to work together. Plus all the agencies that are county, like you said fire.
Yeah.
The
Fire,
federal.
police, federal, local, like they all, you're exactly right. I used to characterize working in LA County as a bunch of fiefdoms where nobody was coordinating at all or very little. It was a bunch of silos, and GIS really changed that fundamentally. That is one of the things I really take away is how fundamentally all of those county agencies, all those cities work so closely together now, and it is all within the framework that was established by Esri and by using tools like GIS. And it was really started in those back rooms with conversations like, we're sending people to training. How many people are you going to get sent to training? Maybe we can join forces and get a deal,
Yeah,
Or you
exactly
think
right.
about the work that Nick Franchino has done with Lariac. That started out as a sales pitch from a company called Photogrammetry, I want to say, or something like that. No, not photogrammetry. It was
Pictometry.
pictometry.
Yeah.
Pictometry. Remember pictometry, right?
Yep.
So now, yeah, that data is still some of the best land-based data you can get. LiDAR data, topos, DEMs, obviously, great aerial imagery. But there again, that shows the investment that's been made by not just county. I mean, that is, the dime is paid by a lot of different cities that benefit from
Yep.
that. But it's being able to pull all that together. And that's where Nick and others have really done such an amazing job in keeping that together. Like you said, like I said, it's like herding cats, right? Think of all of these people with their own budgets, but yet, they all see the benefit of what I call societal GIS, which is, basically GIS from all these different fiefdoms working together organically, which
Yep.
is cool. Yeah, that's
It's really
really
awesome that
cool.
it does work, right? I mean, it's great. I
Yeah,
mean, it
it
took a
does
while to
work.
get
Yeah.
there, but it works.
People think it would be chaotic. It's not actually. Like we were talking about earlier, traveling abroad, most people have the same problems and are
Yep,
seeing the same
exactly.
stuff. Yeah, yeah. So
So these days, you've gone into teaching GIS, right? That
yeah,
is your passion. You were always a great mentor for me
thank
in my
you.
career. You really did. You taught me a lot. You showed me all the ropes of GIS and how to, just work in the county level, right? Which
Yeah,
is,
yeah,
county jobs like my first real job, technically.
yeah,
I mean, I had some
yeah.
jobs before that doing drafting and whatnot and stuff, but it wasn't, it was just kind of do what you want kind of jobs and stuff. County was like my
Right,
first job, first intro to working with that kind of environment. And you really helped me out a lot there. It was great. A lot of
right.
people at County did. I mean, you, Hyder, rest in peace, Steve,
Yeah, yeah,
Tim Denton as well.
yeah. Tim
Man,
Denton.
oh, that guy was great.
He was great, man, and one of the biggest MacGyvers you'll ever meet on the planet, right?
Yep.
Tim was wickedly funny, but he was one of those quiet, wickedly funny people. You always had to watch out, right?
But
But he
yeah,
was no, and those were the people that when you talk about mentoring, I started my career at the district started in 1995, and so did my career in GIS. As my first Esri conference was in 95 or 96 in Palm Springs back in the day when there was just a couple thousand people sitting around a table with a slide projector, right? And so, but no, back then things were just so entirely different, very different than they are today. So,
yeah,
but getting back to mentoring though, so no, there was so many people in that office and beyond that office in my life that I have just had the pleasure and with all respect, the so much gratitude of people mentoring me in my life through school, through college, so many jobs I'd had over the years. I was thinking about my original boss, my first boss. Was a job at McDonald's, but his previous career, he was a chief petty officer in the Navy for 20 years, and he was really good at raising young boys just like me. And he taught me how to tie a tie, that guy, believe it or not. And so you
oh
think
man,
about all of these people that enter your life and can give you something that is based on their life experience. And I think it's something intrinsic in a lot of us. We want to be able to pass on that knowledge. And so, that was my motivation early on to, and still is today. I teach GIS at Rio Hondo, and that's a big motivator for me to teach. I don't necessarily need to teach. I love to teach, but I really want to pay back. It really is, paying it forward for the next generation. And you really see, especially with GIS technology, how impactful it can be. It can be a game changer. And so when my class and my students take my class, I always try and impress upon them that heavy fact that with, you have this awesome tool in front of you, but with, great ability comes great responsibility too. And so I'm always kind of harping on them about how this knowledge that you're going to gain, how you need to go and take it and change the world
yeah,
for
exactly.
whatever reason, right? I mean, the world needs a lot of GISers out there, and My job is to inspire more than to instruct, I guess. So, but yeah, absolutely, and thank you. It's been my honor to mentor folks like you and many people over the years. But that really came from people like Gary Yoshida, for instance. There's someone
Yep,
that
Gary.
was a big mentor in my life. He taught me all about mentoring. Sagar, you remember Sagar, our
Oh
boss?
yeah.
Very interesting people that challenged me, um, as I challenge others, right? They challenged me to do better. They challenged me to always keep refining my skills, keep sharpening that sword or those scissors, because the more you do, the more impactful you can be to make change, positive change, and
Yeah.
you're probably my best case in point where all I just had to say was, this is what GIS is. And you took off like a rocket and you never look back. And I'll say that I've had a lot, you're not alone, but I do appreciate the continued work that you do. I think what you're doing is super important. This podcast is proof. And so pat yourself on the back, dude, because I'm sure you've inspired quite a few people over the years. So
Oh, thank you.
just
And,
like a
and
proud papa. I'm a proud papa now. I'm a proud grandpapa, right?
yeah, exactly. Like I said,
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just well, I've done it for a while. I've been out there talking to people quite a while.
yeah,
Um, I got my videos and the books and everything like that. But even
yeah.
now, I get more into, I like the mentoring aspect of it quite a bit. I think
Yes,
I'm appreciating the mentoring aspect of it even more today
yes,
than maybe I did before, where it was fun stuff to do, and I didn't
right.
really think about what people were taking away from it and everything. And now I'm like,
No,
okay,
yeah.
yeah,
That is one of the reasons I teach. One of the most rewarding things you can have as a teacher is be approached at an Esri conference years later. One of your students walks up to you and said, "Thank you, and you've changed my life. And here's what I've done." And it really is passing on that knowledge. It's passing on your experiences, but it goes back to inspiration. I think you're a natural at it, dude. So I think between the two of us, yeah, we've proven that really mentorship is critical in any kind of environment like we have here. So
and how
yeah,
do you think people that are coming up in their career, or maybe they're in the later part of their careers, they can become better mentors themselves to people they work with?
yeah, absolutely. Well, it doesn't matter whether you're a coworker or you're a friend, or you're just somebody that sees somebody struggling, right? The team environment is ripe with mentorship, if you think about it. But then you also have, yeah, I don't call them managers. A manager to me is a teacher, right?
Okay,
A manager
awesome.
to me is somebody that inspires, but also helps that person become a fulfillment of themselves. It's nothing that we're really, as a mentor, I'm not trying to teach you something new as much as I'm trying to teach you something about yourself that you already have, if that makes sense, right? I mean,
That's a
you
great
can
way to look
spot,
at it.
so really, as a mentor, the trick is to spot the genius in people. Everybody has gifts, and to be able to get them to see their gifts, that's the trick of mentorship and teaching, I think. It is making somebody way more powerful than themselves. I'll never forget. I had this one guy, great guy, Howard Wolford. He was somebody that came up through the ranks as a mechanic. He was a car mechanic. He used to work for car dealerships, and then he got involved in a little bit of IT stuff. But I introduced him to a BI tool, and I said, "You're going to learn this." And he came back and said, "But I'm not an IT guy. I'm not a," and I said, "You're the perfect guy for this because you can see the value of what you're creating."
Yeah,
So it's flipping it on its head. IT guys are great at what they do, but they don't have the drive. They don't see the if you just had this one report, right? So I taught him how to do that. He was an award-winning guy from the company that we use the BI tools for. They honored him at two of their conferences with the best reports.
Oh
Uh,
man,
and so, but he was like you. He was somebody that at the get him over the hump, get him to feel comfortable. Once you do, watch him take off and be there to just, support and lift, but let them do, they're brilliant. They can do it. They don't need
that's awesome.
you, and that to me, that is mentoring. That is wanting somebody else that you're mentoring or somebody else that you're teaching to do far more than you can. Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that. I love that perspective. That's great.
Yeah. It's
So
a good one.
I want to be respectful of your time here, Sean. But before I let you go,
Yeah.
anything else you want to add before we leave here?
No, I mean, I appreciate the invite. I invite shameless plug to students to, if they're interested to know a little bit more, check us out at Rio Hondo
Yeah,
College, but more importantly than that, get involved in GIS, conferences, get involved, network. Be one of those people in the back of the room, you
yeah,
know and really meet people. And I think the more you do that, the more you'll see you all have a lot of commonality. But there's a special love I have for GISers, and I think at heart we're all just map geeks. And so you'll be in great company in the back of the room, I guess is my
true,
message.
no
So
doubt.
yeah, go hang out in the back of the room. Don't ignore the speaker, because I've done a lot of speaking. No, go hang out in the back of the room and really find your niche, man.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Sean. I'll talk to you next time.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thank you for listening to the Bounding Box today. Please subscribe for more content.